The romance just didn't feel real to me. I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, these quotes keep hitting me in the heart. Hi besties, it's Annika. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be starting a reading vlog. Also, I'm wearing like the perfect outfit for this. The concept for the video is that this video will end when I find a 5-star read. So until we find that perfect 5-star read. So I've actually already got our first book here. I started it last night. I'm literally on page 15, so not even really into it yet, but this is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I lost the sleeve to the book a few months ago when I bought it, and so I literally can't even read the summary. Like, I have no idea what the book's about. Just know I think it's fantasy romance, and it's very like Regency era, which is kind of like regal. Oh, it's also about a witch, and I think a witch hunter. I'm a mess here, I don't know. I think also in other countries it's called Crimson Moth. This book was going viral a few months ago, and so I picked it up and I've been wanting to read it. And I was in the mood for a new fantasy series, so I really like it so far. Our main character, her name is Rune, and she is a witch undercover in a land and a time where people hate witches, and I think they are arresting all of them and killing them. Anyways, I just wanted to start the video so that way we could start reading together and I could give you updates along the way. This is book number 1. I'm gonna go sit and watch the sunset probably. How cold is it? Maybe I can sit outside. I think I might sit outside and read for a while. Okay, I am here with a update. So I just got to page 100, which means I feel like I know the voice of the book, I know the tone, I know what's going on, and I have some thought. Our female main character's name is Rune, and she is a witch, and her grandmother who raised her was also a witch, and she lives in a world and in a time where there was a revolution that happened, and basically witches are hunted and imprisoned, and she makes it her job as a service to like her family to protect the remaining witches and do everything she can to stop the killing of her kind. I love when female main characters are, especially in fantasy, I love when they are so powerful and very smart, very intelligent, and essentially is running this whole scheme under like the government's nose. It makes me respect their character. It makes me just love how independent they are. So I already like love her character and I feel connected to her, and we get to see like a lot of her struggle, also living essentially like a fake life around these people because she's so committed to her job. So it's dual point of view. So the other character, who is our male main character, his name is Gideon, and he is actually the older brother of Rune's best friend, but he is the most notorious, highest ranking witch hunter. You can already see where like ultimate enemies to lovers is being set up. Like, this is the kind of enemies to lovers that I like. Like, it's like hatred like that runs so deep. I think it's gonna make the romance that much juicier. I feel like for enemies to lovers, it's done so well when the characters are like on complete opposite sides of the spectrum, like complete, like how much further apart can you get from like witch and witch hunter? They hate each other, they hate each other's kind. I love seeing dual point of views because you get to see the guy just be like down bad for her even though she doesn't even know it. We get to meet some of Rune's friends who are like in on this whole scheme with her, and they're super likable characters, and their friendship is so fun and organic and just like feels like real life even though it's fantasy. It's just really done really well. I'm loving the writing so much. I think this is YA and it doesn't feel YA at all, and I mean that as a compliment. The writing still feels mature without being confusing, and the characters themselves feel really mature even though they're younger. So I love that, because I think that's something that I have a hard time with when reading specifically YA fantasy. And YA anything is sometimes the voice sounds very young, which is like makes sense, it's young adult. And it's meant for a certain audience, but I love when I can enjoy it just as much as I enjoy adult fantasy or romance, and I just think this writing is a perfect example of that. She is descriptive. I feel like I'm in the world. I feel like I can see it. It's not too detailed to where she's like losing me. It moves through scenes very quickly, which I feel like is keeping me really engaged. So I really like it. I don't know where it's going. I'm excited to see where the plot goes, because her whole mission now in life is to save the witches that are being hunted, and his entire mission in life is to hunt witches. I think they're trying to like fake date each other with their own individual motives, and it's gonna get messy, and I'm so excited. I'm already feeling pretty invested, so I hope that stays, fingers crossed, and that this is a new fantasy that I love. I've decided to come read outside, and I'm wearing sunglasses because it literally feels like summer outside. I feel like I'm defrosting. It is a perk to living in Texas, is that we get sunny months most of the year, and so I couldn't just let the sun today pass without me coming out here, but the goal is to get through most of this. I'm on page 187. I love this. Let me read you this line. "This is a game," he reminded himself, his chest tight. "It means nothing." But if that were true, why did he feel like he was walking straight off a cliff, hoping he wouldn't fall? I'm on page 206. Okay, I'm gonna wait for it to pass. I am loving the vibe of this. I don't think I've ever read a Regency romance, and I've definitely never read a Regency fantasy romance, and I love it so much. It's giving what I imagine like Bridgerton is like. I haven't seen it. When I say Regency, what I mean is like, think of the ballrooms and the ball gowns and the big parties and the socialite. This is all taking place in a fantasy world, and I've never read something like this, but I really love that aspect of it. I think it makes it so fun. Their outfits are so cool. Rune herself is a socialite, and I feel like she could literally care less about that, but plays the part so that way she can keep being the Crimson Moth. And it's just fun because there's all these like secrets entangled in it that makes it very dramatic. It feels like reading a drama because the characters all have like their own motives, specifically Rune and Gideon. Like there's so many secrets, and they're literally out for each other and trying to play each other. So I love the Regency part of it. It's very regal, it's very royal kind of. I love those like rich settings. Like I think they're so fun to read about. And we see Rune like be a very high status, and then we also get Gideon's point of view, and he is like the complete opposite, and we see how that like complicates their relationship. They're like trying to play each other for their own benefit and for their own interest, all while essentially like fake dating. And there's so much wrapped up in it. There's so many lies, there's so many secrets that it's become such a mess. And I think I'm really nervous for Rune at this point, because I just don't know if she can keep the jig up. And so I just wonder like how Gideon's gonna find out, because they basically are hunting each other. So that in itself keeps you on the edge of your seat, because you're constantly like, are they gonna get caught? Like who's gonna get caught? How's it gonna go down? Like I just know it's gonna be big, I know it's gonna be dramatic, and I know it's gonna be a huge fallout. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm really trying to finish this today. That might be ambitious, but we're gonna see if I can do it. all done.
I was editing and realized that I lost the review clip for Heartless Hunter. But thank God I remember pretty much everything I said. It was really short because this is obviously not our last book, so it was not 5 stars. I believe I rated it 4 stars. Now let me tell you why. I overall really enjoyed the book. I think I told you guys like the pacing was good. There was always something new happening. I felt like the scenes moved along and progressed really quickly, which kept me interested pretty much the entire time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fantasy world. I enjoyed the characters. I loved the plot twist at the end and like the betrayal. I had kind of seen a spoiler, so I ended up knowing what was coming of like one of the reveals and the betrayal reveals. But if I hadn't known, it would have been like such a good plot twist. So I feel like the ending was so good. The only thing that I kind of didn't love was actually the romance. Like I couldn't get on with it very much. Like I liked them, I didn't believe it. When they started falling for each other, I was like, okay, like I get it, enemies to lovers, right? But why are you guys into each other? Now, this could be totally personal opinion. I have not heard reviews about this book in a very long time. I remember reading it and just thinking like, why are you guys into each other? Like you actually have none of the same interests. You don't like the same things. You guys kind of hate each other. It felt, I wouldn't say like insta-lovey. I just don't know. Like it didn't feel real. The romance just didn't feel real to me. It felt like that is what like made sense for the story. So obviously they were going to be the romantic involvement, but I actually thought she fit better with someone else. And if you read the book, maybe you know who I'm talking about, but I don't know. I just didn't really care for her and Gideon. I honestly found every other part of the book way more interesting than the romance. I don't know. I'm going to keep reading it because I know that the second book just came out. So I'm going to read that. I actually already bought it. I have it sitting on my console. Oh, there was also a really tragic plot twist at the end that just broke my heart. So I thought she did really well with the plot twist. It ended on such a good cliffhanger to like make you want to read the second book. I just think my main issue with it for some reason, maybe I just didn't take to it, was the romance. I could be on a planet of one with that opinion, but that's just my opinion. I think if you like fantasy and you like YA fantasy, you should read it. I think it's actually a really good book. I think all the other parts of it I enjoyed so much, and I will read the second book for the plot. But we're going to move on to our next book. Still on the hunt for that 5-star read.
I have an update. I don't know if I ever officially told you guys, but the next book we are going to be reading to see if it could potentially be the next 5-star read is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. She is also the author of The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics. I read The 7-Year Slip last year. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 4.5 stars. What's really cool about her books is that they always are kind of magical in a way. Like she always has some magical elements to her books. I haven't read The Dead Romantics, but I'm pretty sure it has something like that in it too. And the reason I picked this one is because her books are just known for being some of people's like yearly favorites. When this one came out last year, I bought it and I just saw like a lot of mixed reviews on it. People either really loved it or they really didn't like it, and so I kind of just put it off. But I've had actually a few people DM me saying that I should read this book because they really loved it, and I was just in the mood for a romance. I was in the mood for a more like non-traditional romance, which is exactly what this is, because obviously there's like magic involved. Basically what's happening is our main character, her name is Eileen, but people call her Elsie. She gets lost on her road trip to a little vacation that she was taking solo. Every year, her and her best friend and like some members of their book club, they would have like a yearly annual besties vacation. And this year her best friend was busy with her boyfriend. Elsie just kind of decides to take the road trip by herself, but her car breaks down in the middle of it. She accidentally ends up in this tiny town in the middle of the night. The town she ends up in is called Elorton. The town actually ends up being one that she recognizes from her favorite fictional romance series. She's like, wait a second, things are a little bit too familiar here. Like, I feel like I've seen this before. And then she's like, wait, I haven't seen this. I've read about this, which I think is just so fun. As like a reader, that type of plot is so fun to imagine. So she's kind of stranded, but she is hanging out with the stranger she met on the first night, and his name is Anders. So far, I'm really liking it. I kind of think I'm liking it more than I remember liking the 7-Year Slip at this point, but I'm not even 100 pages in. What I can judge is the writing style, and I love it. It feels so warm. Something about her writing does it for me. So descriptive, so relatable, so kind of like within reach. Like, it's not so unrealistic, which is kind of funny because this is like a completely like far-fetched fiction story. And I also don't like small town romance. And so I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, I already started it. Like, I'm gonna just keep reading it, but I don't think it'll be a 5-star read because I don't love small town romance, and I don't have that like bored feeling yet that I usually get with small town romance, which is a good thing. So maybe I was literally judging a book by its cover. I'm really enjoying the small town. It's not too honky tonk, as I like to say. There's a lot of like suspense and mystery to it too, which is what I love about Ashley Poston's books, is because you don't know how this could add up in the real world, there's like an element of mystery and suspense as to how the romance is actually going to work out in this warped magic that they're kind of involved in. I love the way she describes things and describes like the emotion that Elsie has been feeling in her life, because she had been feeling very stuck and very alone, kind of like at a lull in her life, and she just feels like that's just who she is and what she deserves at this point. But I don't know, the way she describes it and the way she describes Elsie's love for books is so good and so spot on. I will keep reading and I will let you know when I have some more thoughts.
I don't know the last update I gave you guys, but don't mind Miss Piggy. And I was just gonna continue reading, but I realized I should probably give you guys some updates. The reason I haven't is because there hasn't been any major updates. Everything is kind of, it's like things are happening, but nothing's really happening. I'm on page 207. I think I have like 130 pages left. She's obviously stuck in this fictional town, and they're all very friendly to her. These are all her favorite book characters, like come to life, which is kind of cool. It's like your personal Disney World. And I do feel like the side characters could be developed a bit more for me to be more connected to the story, but I also don't know if that's just because they're like fictional characters. I mean, all of these are obviously fictional characters, but these are like, this is like bookception. Like, they're fictional characters within a fictional book. That's like one of my like kind of issues with the book, is they don't feel super developed, and Elsie's kind of got herself intertwined with all of them while she has to be stuck there. And the one that has helped the most is Anders, and we are getting to see like their connection grow throughout the book. It's nothing jaw-dropping. I don't think it's anything that I would like write home about. I wouldn't go out of my way to read about them specifically, but that being said, they are really cute. And you know what, as I'm saying this, I actually remember this being my problem with the 7-Year Slip, is I felt like our male main character, I didn't know him well enough. I wanted to love him more, and I did love him, but I wanted to love him more. I wanted to be obsessed, but I wasn't, because I felt like there was something missing. Like, we could have gone deeper, we could have gotten to know him more. That could totally be a personal thing, and I just feel that way with Anders. And so right now, all that's really happened is she's spending time in, how do you say it? Elorton. It's starting to get a little bit more complicated because she is interacting with these fictional characters, and I don't know the rules of all this magic, and I don't think she does either. But if we've ever heard about time travel, you always hear like, don't mess anything up, because it could create like a ripple effect into the present or the future, and that could like screw everything up. And I think she's kind of encountering that. Like, she is messing some things up a little bit. and is like, oh shoot, I need to go fix that because that could really cause a ripple domino effect that would be really problematic for like the book series potentially. Her and Anders are kind of having like this love-hate thing. Like they like each other, she really likes him, but he's also a bit standoffish, so it's like giving mixed signals. It's kind of missing the mark on a few things, but I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I would just say the plot's not progressing at a crazy pace, but it is still my cup of tea. I finished A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I'm gonna tell you this is not our last book because it was not 5 stars, so I'm still on the hunt for a 5-star read. I feel like I have flip-flopped with this rating. Is there a gnat on my lens? Yes. Can you see that? Ooh. Whatever I put on the screen is the official rating, but at this point in time, I would rate this 3.75, which I feel like for a romance is still good. Anything above a 3.5, I would recommend. The thing is, I like overall enjoyed it. Like I actually wasn't upset at any of it. I just think it didn't draw me in as much as like a 4 or 5-star read. I love her writing. That's one thing that makes this so enjoyable, and I will keep reading her books because of it. Her writing is so good. I connect with it so much. I did annotate some parts of this very lightly. She would say things and she would write lines that would actually make me relate so hard. I feel like she also redeemed the male main character's plot line because he was good, but I felt like we were lacking a lot of backstory throughout the book, but that kind of all ties up very neatly, and I think she does it really well, and we get a lot more of his backstory. I think it was dragged out way too long at the end. I feel like this book could have been 50 pages shorter, and I feel like I keep having that problem with romance books, and I don't know if it's because authors feel like 350 is a good medium-sized book, but it's okay to have shorter books that are like 300, 280. I felt like it really dragged out at the end. Like there were some scenes that I was like, what is the point of this? Like why are we reading this? Like the whole book has not been about this, and I don't know why this is inserted at the end. So it was kind of losing me. I felt myself like skimming like the last 30 pages probably. This book is very like consistent. There's not big ups and downs. I just feel like it's a very consistent plot line. There's no major plot points. Like her days spent in this small town are very repetitive because that's kind of also the gist of the town. So you're reading a lot of like the same stuff. You know, to be fair on the book, small town romance is not my favorite. I remember The 7-Year Slip was set in New York City and I loved that. I do feel like the characters in the story were really well written. I really came around to them. Like you get to know them in a way that is super like bittersweet because you know that they're not actually real in this world. I do have one more thing that I didn't love, and that was the like 3rd act fallout of the characters that is always in romance books. I was honestly kind of confused by it. Like I just felt like it was a little bit unnecessary and it didn't really match Anders' character's like characteristics. Like I don't really know why he did that or why that happened. I feel like maybe there could have been something else that made more sense, but that does mean that we have another book coming. First I picked up a Kristen Hanna book, but then I was like, I'm not really in the mood for like historical fiction right now. Then I picked up The Wishing Game because I've heard really good things about that. But then I put that back because I remembered a book that I bought recently that I was super excited to read. I talked to you guys about it on my Instagram story a few weeks ago, and some people said that it's like a really good book, but it's very deep and it has heavier topics. And honestly, those are sometimes like the most shoe-in 5-star reads. And I really hope this does that for me. So I'm reading Beartown by Frederick Bachman because we're on the hunt. This is the 3rd book. I kind of have a good feeling about it. Maybe 3rd time's the charm. And I'm only 15 pages in, but I have already been shocked by some of the quotes in here. I love it. Like I'm already kind of loving it. Right now, this book is about a community that is deep in the forest called Beartown, and they describe it in a way that it's very forgotten about, not a place tourists want to go. It's dark all the time, it's cold all the time. The one thing about this town, kind of their best feature right now is that they have a really good junior hockey team. So I think these characters are probably around like 15 to 18 years old, and this hockey team is getting ready to compete in the national semifinals. And the book kind of explains like this is a big deal. Like in any town, probably wouldn't be a big deal. Like who would care about a teenage hockey team? Like the whole community wouldn't be buzzing about it typically, but it is a big deal for this town because they're so forgotten about, they're so isolated, they're so like not on the map basically, that this could bring some eyes to Beartown. It could get them some more funding, more attention, and just be really good for the town and for the community. I assume we're gonna follow these hockey players that we've been introduced to. Right now we know Kevin, Amat, and Benji, and this is third person point of view, so we have a narrator kind of taking us through like all these different characters. We're getting to know them. I don't really know how they all come together. We're getting to know like their individual stories right now. Like I said, I'm only 15 pages in. It does say on the first page that someone walks into the forest and puts a gun to someone's head and pulls the trigger. And that's how it starts. And then I think the whole book is like from the beginning to that point. But anyways, this is the next book that we're going to be reading. I'm really excited. I have free time tonight. It's a Friday night. I also have my iPad here, and I'm going to download some games and play on my iPad while I listen to the audiobook and read some of the book on my iPad, because I actually feel like that would be quite nice. I used to do that when I was younger. I would read on my iPad. So one more thing, look at what I found when I went home this week. This was part of the reason I became obsessed with reading. I read like all of the Nancy Drew books, and isn't it so funny and also humbling to your childhood self when you open a book, like a chapter book that you used to love when you were younger, and you realize how giant the words are. I thought I was reading literature. Like I remember the words being so small and me being so educated reading these books, but look at how big the words are. I swear they increased in size. Or my brain probably just increased in size. Reading spot with a new book. Saturday literally can't get better than this. Oh, these quotes keep hitting me in the heart. Like, listen to this one. And her mom is always telling her, you never have the sort of friends you have when you're 15 ever again. Even if you keep them for the rest of your life, it's never the same as it was then. That's so heartbreakingly true. Even if you still have the same friends from when you were 15, it's never the same. Also, I realized that on the front, the Washington Post has a quote that says, packed with wise insights into the human experience. When I saw that on the front, I was like, oh, I love that. So from what I'm getting, hockey literally runs this town. It like makes their world go round. We are getting all of their stories in relation to hockey first. It's a little bit like confusing, or like I have to catch on at a certain point when we switch between characters, because there is so many, and it's not switching point of views, it's just switching like descriptions in a format that I'm not really used to. Let's talk about it. I haven't given an update, and I realized when I hit page 200 that I need to, because I'm pretty much halfway through the book. And honestly, I was just like enjoying it and going with it. And I do have a few thoughts. I'm so pale. That's my first thought. I'm on chapter 26. I'm about to start it, and you guys have probably noticed from the clips that I actually started annotating this book. I found the writing to be so powerful and just insightful, the way Frederick Bachman talks about and describes the human experience. A lot of the chapters, the first lines of the chapter itself are lines describing some sort of human experience or emotion. This is the beginning of chapter 23. Peter and Kira wake up happy, laughing. This is what they will remember about this day, and they will hate themselves for it. The very worst events in life have that effect on a family. We always remember more sharply than anything else the last happy moment before everything fell apart, the second before the crash, the ice cream at the gas station just before the accident, the last swim on a holiday before we came home and received the diagnosis. Our memories always force us back to those very best moments night after night, prompting the questions, could I have done something differently? That is so powerful. Some of the most stark memories in my mind are right before something life-changingly bad happens. I remember like the moments before, like those last moments of bliss before you're like thrust into this new reality. That's just one example, because basically every chapter opens with something like that. You know, I'm on page 200 and I feel like at this point I've spent a lot of time with these characters already. We get to know so many different characters. Between paragraphs, it's kind of jumping between characters, so we're not really following like one main character. There's like more forefront characters, but we're kind of getting insight into every single person's POV. I don't think they're supposed to be very likable people. They're just very realistic people, which I love in a book. I think that makes them likable in their own way. Because we get so many characters in this book, we get so many different perspectives on life, depending on their age, depending on their struggle, just like everyone's different perspectives. So it's a really well-rounded book in that way. Like, I love getting insight into so many different people, because I feel like sometimes YA books can lose me. This is not YA, but just like, for example, YA books can lose me when it's just teenage point of views, because I just like, I can relate from a past self, but I can't really like get into it in the same way. And so essentially what the first half of the book has been about is that this junior hockey team made it to like the semifinals, and everyone's just really, really invested in this semifinals match. But there's a lot of other fallout after the game, and this is where the book gets more serious. Trigger warnings for the book. There is sexual assault and like minors dealing with sexual assault, so that in itself is very jarring when you're reading it. It definitely makes it a lot heavier. I have heard that this book is not a light read, and usually books for me that are 5 stars, I'm starting to remember, are like painful books or books that deal with heavier topics, because it's able to like pierce my heart in a way that a light fluffy romance just typically can't do. I'm interested to see where this goes, because the assault does deal with people on the hockey team, and I just have a feeling, because of the way these boys are elevated in the town, that it's going to be very, very difficult for the girl involved if she decides to speak up. Let's just say things I'm enjoying are the writing. I love, love, love his writing. I have a bunch of quotes and pages tabbed, which you can kind of see. I'm gonna keep reading. I really hope to finish this soon. I'm halfway through.
I'm on chapter 38, page 292. I love the way tabs look. It's so pleasing. There is so much like commentary to be had about this book, because it deals with a very serious topic. Basically what we're seeing is kind of the fallout of this sexual assault that has happened. We see her really work through all those emotions, and the author takes us very deeply into that. What Frederick Bachman does, or like what I'm picking up on, is that he lets you get to know almost every single character involved in the story. You do feel very connected to the characters. Like, I feel connected to them in a way of like, I feel like I know them very well. And so that makes situations like this feel a lot heavier, because even if you yourself have never experienced it, you sympathize and empathize with the character that you've gotten to know, and it's really heartbreaking to read about. Definitely not a lighthearted read, but I think it's an important read, because he has raised so many important points and things to realize about our society within this situation, and it raises so many different reactions, and you just get to see like honestly the inherent advantage that boys get in this type of situation. The thing is, the town is so small, everyone knows both of them, and they still give the benefit of the doubt to the boy first, even if they're not like trying to do that. Like they're giving him the benefit of the doubt first, and what she's always approached with is doubt first. I think it reminds me of deep struggle and heartbreak that victims have to go through, because on top of the heartbreaking tragedy of their own assault, like there's so much more on top of it that they have to endure after that. He's raising a lot of really important questions about the way that boys are treated over girls, men are treated over women when it comes to assault like this, like the disadvantage that the victims are put at. Oh, there was a line actually that I took a picture of because it like enraged me. Like, who knows, 15-year-old girls aren't rational. And that just like honestly made me so upset, because I was like, that sounds like things we hear all the time, like girls aren't rational, girls are so emotional. And it's like his first reaction is 15-year-old girls aren't rational, instead of like 15-year-old boys aren't rational. Not just like a gender thing, but also like a social status kind of thing, because it raises that question too. It's like, well, this is obviously about gender, but I think it involves like more things. Like there's more layers to it. Like he comes from a wealthy family, has very successful parents, he is very successful. That is also heavily contributing. So it's not just a gender thing. This is like so multifaceted that you start to like really think about it. It reminds us of things that are very important, because it's like, I feel like a lot of us know this. Like I would like to think that I know all of these things, but I don't actively think about it, and like makes you want to be part of like a bigger change. So this book is amazing for that. I know it's really heavy and I know it's very weighty, and sometimes people don't like reading for that. Like it's definitely not escapism in my opinion, but I love reading for this purpose too.
I am here because I finished Beartown. I feel like you can probably guess that I gave this 5 stars. Just gonna let that soak in, because I've been filming this vlog for over a month. Yes, I'm a slow reader, and I'm only partially part-time wannabe booktuber, so it does take me an average person's time to get through books. I was going between 4.5 and 5 stars. I was like, should I include another book? But I think I was overthinking it because of the concept of this video, and I was like, you know what, I would give this 5 stars. Actually, it holds so much more weight and value than just a story about a fictional hockey town. I think this would be a great book club book, like if you have an in-person book club. If, of course, everyone's okay with the trigger warnings, would be such a good conversation starter, because it really makes you examine yourself, your own morals, the world around you, the interactions that you've had throughout your life, and the, I guess, like principles within that. It really draws a lot of attention and I think just like reflection on yourself because of the situations that these characters are going through. And when a book can do that, I feel like not only is it adding purpose to your life, it's like enlightening you in a way and just making you more aware of the people around you and what they go through and what marginalized groups go through. So some of the issues that it does talk about and highlight and just like, I feel like draw good attention to is things like toxic masculinity, peer pressure, silencing of victims, and just like things that victims go through, homophobia, small town issues. If you're kind of like wondering why this book is such a big deal, I think that's why it heavily affects people so much. I love how Frederick Bachman uses hockey as a metaphor for like almost everything. And I think even if you haven't played hockey, like whatever you have a passion for, you can relate to in the book and the way that he talks about hockey. I also loved just the entire, I guess, like setting of Beartown. I usually don't like small town books, but this was done in such an authentic way. I felt like a resident of Beartown while I was reading this book. The small town is not done in like a corny, kind of like generic, stereotypical way. I feel like it's done in a very authentic, organic way to the story, and it gives you more insight as to why like that small town culture was toxic. I think it's genuinely an important read. I think as young people, it's important we read books like this. I think it's important we pay attention to topics like this. I think social media is great for raising awareness, but it is only with honestly like literature that you can truly get into the perspective of someone that is going through things like this, especially if we ourselves are not experiencing it. Like there's a lot of conversation and noise in social media, but I feel like this kind of peels back the layers and gives you the really important perspectives when it comes to these things. And I just think it's such a good book. Like aside from the topics and all of that, the detail in this book, the characters in this book, like they are described to a T, to where I feel like I can genuinely envision them. Side note, I think this is a show actually. I don't know if it's on Hulu or HBO. Feel hesitant to watch it because I never like watching shows or movies of like books that I love because it just never lives up to it. The only one is The Hunger Games. I feel like The Hunger Games lived up to the book, but also maybe that's because I read it when I was 12. I don't know. I think even the characters that I really disliked, I felt connected to. Like I still understood them, and though I disagree with them and their actions, like I understood them. I understood that they still have struggles and that they're still human. One thing that is really also engaging about this book is that there's suspense to it. The story has not wrapped up. Like this is a trilogy, and I would say a lot of this book was getting to know the characters and getting to see some of the tragedies unfold. And I obviously don't know where the next two books go, but there is really little to no resolution for these problems and these characters. I think one of my favorite characters is Benji. I feel like there's so many layers to him as a person, and I don't know, I just felt like so connected to him. I love how he stood up for what he knew was right. It was 5 stars for me also because I was thinking about it days after, and that's always how I know something's a 5-star read, especially my 6-star reads. Like I'm like missing the book, like I'm missing the characters days after, even if it was a super sad story. And that's how I felt about this. I think hockey was almost like a blanket for all of these things that Frederick Bachman wanted to write about, and he just like used hockey as a way to like connect all of it. Like it was beautifully crafted in that way, and I just like have so much admiration for his writing. I was never lost. I really was never bored. Like I never got bored with this book. I feel like I could leave it there. That's the end of this video, guys. And guess what? I've already started a new reading vlog, and I promise that one won't take as long because that one's more of like a time crunch type of thing because I'm reading new releases and I want the video to come out when there's still new releases. I started with Sunrise on the Reaping, the new Hunger Games book. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found something new to add to your TBR. And if you do like the reading vlogs, make sure to like and subscribe. They come farther between because they take a little bit longer for me to film, but I promise I'm still filming them. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you want to, and I will see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye!